Hi all, welcome to my channel, welcome to my world. This is the world of Wayne. Today I'm going to be doing pack 8 of the Agora models release and build the SAS Willys. As you can see, look, here it is at the moment in all its glory. That's where we're up to at the moment. We are going to be doing quite a bit today. I think we're doing a bit of the artillery today, and I think we got a little bit of metal as well going on the car. I'm not sure. I need to look through the instructions. All I know is there is a fair bit to do. So this is going to be, I don't know what the recording time of this is going to be. We're going to find that out together. Now, if you want to get this for yourself, I'll put a link in the video description. And once again, I've got my QR code here, which has got all of my builds on it, including my merch store and my Amazon links as well. But let's jump straight into this without further ado. Let's get cracking. As you can see, look, it's a big box today. Let's get this open. And in this box, look, this is that big metal piece that I was on about. This is actually stage 54. I don't think we're starting with that stage. I could be wrong. And then we've got all of these packs here, and there's a lot of them, as you can see. So funny enough, we are actually starting with stage 54. So we get to see what this looks like. Now, this is a solid piece of metal here. And check that out. Haha, that looks absolutely brilliant. The paint is immaculate on it. Although I will be weathering this up soon, but there we go. That's how that's looking. Now, we don't actually do anything with this, so I'm going to keep that safe to one side. So in stage 55, which is in the bag here, we're going to be fitting the pedals. We're going to be also going to be starting the Vickers Machine Gun. So all of these parts here, lots of screws. Let's see where we're going to be starting. We're going to need this bracket here, and I need to attach this connector bracket to it by putting this over here. And I need 2 AP screws, and there's loads of bags of screws here. So let's open these AP. Now, as you can see, these AP screws are color coded, and I'll get one in this side and one in the other side. Now, one of these screw bags here has got a spring in it, so I'm guessing it's this one. There's quite a few springs in it actually. And out of the 2 springs that we've got here, we want the smaller one, because that's going to be going on to the end of this section here, just like that. Now, I'm going to want some GP screws. So I'm going to get them ready to go and bring over the interior here, because we're going to be putting this pedal into place. So it's basically going to go into the 2 holes that we can see just there. I'm going to get this lined up, make sure that the bracket is sitting in there as well, which it is. And it's the GP screws that are going to hold this in from the other side. So as you can see, I can see the lugs there. So there we go. That's in place just like that. Now, the next thing to do is I've got this bracket here that's going to go into place, which is actually going to be going on to this point just here. And I'm holding that in with a DM screw. And there you go, that's in place just like that. Put that to one side while I create another pedal now, which looks just like this. Once again, I've got another spring to put on, which is going to go over the top of all of this so that it's fitting behind the pedal, just like that. I'm guessing this is the brake pedal. And what I'm going to want to do is put it through this hole on this side, this way round, so that it's going to be sitting like this, probably best on the top camera, for me to attach to the bracket that I've just put in there. Now that's going to be held in with a CP screw, and they've got it going on the very end hole here. So I'm going to get that in the same place, just there. There we go, and that's holding that pedal into place as well. And that's pretty much the pedals done. We can actually put this whole thing to one side while we move on to the Vickers Machine Gun. And I'm going to need these 2 parts for that. And the first thing I want to do is put this section just onto this section here. I'm holding it in with a DM screw. So it's actually going behind this section, as you can see, like that. But the DM screw goes in from this side. Put a bit of oil on that. Now, in the back here, I've got a little detail which is going to go into these 2 lugs here. So let me get that in. I'll show you what that looks like. There you go. That's how that's looking. Just put that to one side. Now I'm going to be bringing over this section here, and I've got another detail to put into this. It has got a locating lug. So the locating lug in the top, just like that there. And I'm holding this in with an MP screw. Very tiny screw, this one. Look at this, I'm doing all this without my magnifying glasses. And then I just need these RP screws here, because I'm going to be putting a bracket on. I want the bracket to go on this way, like this. So I'll put this over where it needs to go there, lining up the holes, and get the RP screws through. I think I am going to need my magnifying glasses now. On account, I can't see a thing. Okay, so that's one in that side. Let's get the one in the other side. And one just in the other side there. So, there you go. That's in place there. All I need to do then is take this way round and push it into the cavity here. It can only go one way round to fit neatly into this recess. Push that down into place. And then that should be able to fold up just like that onto that side. That looks good. That's all there is to do in that stage. So in stage 56 here, we're going to be continuing this with the parts that we've got here. So first things first, I've got a bracket because I'm going to be doing another pedal. Now I need a DM screw, and I'm going to want this one to fit into the little lug there. And I'm holding this in with the DM screw. Make sure it's in all the way and tight, because that's what the other pedal is going to mount to. And I have got the other pedal here. And once again, I'm looking for a packet with nothing on it, because I'm guessing this is the packet that's going to have the spring in it. Let's have a look. We've got all sorts of things in here. But there's the spring that I'm after. A couple of little tiny bits in here as well. Once again, put the spring all the way up to the pedal, just like that. I'm going to have a CP screw at the ready, because this is what's going to hold this into place. Once again, I'm putting it through this way round. So it goes through here. Now I'm going to be attaching it to the bracket I just put in. Just like that. So all the pedals are in here now. Okay, put that to one side. And we're going to continue with this machine gun now. So once again, like we did last time, I've got a little detail just going into the end here. So that should fit in just like that. I've then got this detail here, which is just going to be going into this side here. So let me just push that all the way in. So you can see how that looks on this side. Now, back to this one that we were working on. I've got what looks like a sight to put in, which is going to be going into the top just here, like that. And then I've got this one to put in. Now, there is a locating lug just on the end here. So that's going to go in there. And then this is going to be sitting in here, just like that. Looking good. Then I get to clip the whole thing together by putting this on top here. So lining everything up. And press that all together. That's good. I just want these SM screws now. And I need 2 of these to hold this together. So one at the front there. And one just at the back. Perfect. So that's not coming apart now. That's looking good. Now I've got this large pin here, which is going to be going through the hole just at the top here. So let me push that in. I think what I'm going to do is gently tap this into place. There you go. That's in place there. I've got a smaller one, which is going to be going on this side here, just into the hole here. And that one I can actually push in. So that's in like that. Then I've got this piece here, which is going to be going into the top of this section just here. Like that. It's looking good, isn't it? And then finally, to complete the sights, I've got this one that's going to be going into the end here. So I can look down the end. There you go. That's looking good. And that's also all there is to do in that stage. So now I'm doing that air cleaner and the pan magazine. A few little bits in here. So the first thing I think we need is what looks like, I'm guessing, the air cleaner. Once again, I'm going to bring over what we had created before. Where we got this is going to be going next to this. So this is actually going to be fitting on here just like that. I'm holding it in with CM screws, or actually it's one CM screw at the top. Let's get that in because the bottom has a lug on it, you see. You sort of have to go behind this other detail here, but there we go, that's in place. Put that to one side while I now create what looks like a reservoir, and that's a case of putting these two parts here together. So this is going to fit on top, so it's snug just like this, but I'm holding it in with a CP screw just from the top here. That'll stop this coming out. I do have a cap that's going to go in here, and there is a little notch on the cap, so match the notches up so that when I push this cap in, actually you want to push it further down than that. There we go. Now I'm going to get two CP screws at the ready, because what I'm doing now is I'm going to put this into place. So this actually fits on here just like this, and I'll line up the holes for these CP screws and one here. Perfect, that's in place. Put that to one side, and now I want to bring over this section here, and I want to bring over this section just here. I've got a detail to put in here that looks like this. It's got a locating lug on it. There you go. When that's in, it should look just like that. I'm holding it in the other side with an RP screw. Tiny screw this is. This is the start of the magazine by the look of it. I've got the handle here, which is going to go on each side. So put one end of the handle in there, just stretch it to get the other one in. There we go. That's into place. Then we're just going to be working on the bottom of this magazine here. So I've got a little clip to go on, which goes into these lugs here. Push that into place. And then I want to be clipping this into place. Now there is a notch in here, so I need to make sure I line the notch up with that gap there. So that when I push this in, not only is it going to clip together, as you can see, but the bracket on the side is going to go over this as well. So it fits nice and flush. All I've got to do then is, you see the two lugs there, we're going to be putting that on top of this machine gun, which fits in just like that. That's looking good. Now I'll put that to one side. We do have a part left over from this stage which looks like that. So stage 58, we're going to fit the gun mount and inserting cartridges. All of this. So again, we're working a little bit more on this interior at the moment, and I have got these sections here that we're going to be putting in now. So this one here, I believe, is probably labelled, yes, it's left. So we're going to be putting this into here just like that. It slots into the hole at the back, which will enable me to line up these holes just here. And that's going to be held in with these CP screws I've got here, but they're held in from the bottom. So I've got a CP screw here. Let's get the first one in. That was actually quite a fiddly thing to do, but as you can see, that's in that side. And then I've got a smaller one just to put into the other side here, which goes in this way. And again, CP screws. Perfect, and that's both of those in. So that is how that's looking at the moment. Put that to one side. Now I'm going to be taking this great big mount, and I've got this section to put over the top, and it's basically going to go on this way. I've put the flashing marks facing down, so that's going like that. On top of this, I've got the bracket that we had in the last stage that was left over. That's going to be going on top just there, and I'm going to be holding that in with a DM screw. Now this screw is color coded here. I have put it in some oil, so let's get that in all the way. Perfect. And now I'm going to be wanting to put this into the main body of the car. So if I just take this off, because this hasn't been put on yet, this actually goes into the position just here. So this is going to lie flat into that section, so it is quite stable when it's on here, as you can see there. Excellent. So I need 2 DM screws to keep that into place. Again, these are the color coded ones. Get one in there and one just in the other side here. Perfect. So just put that back to one side again. I'm going to be bringing over this section and taking the cap off again that we just put in the previous stage, because I'm going to be putting some bullets in here. So what I need to do is just take off this sticky pad. This is some insane detail now, and put that in here like that. Grab my tweezers and peel that off, ensuring I've left the stickiness there. And then I'm going to need to cut these off of the sprue. So got my sprue cutters here, and we want to cut them very tight to this section here. I don't know how many we need to cut off, I'll be honest with you. I'm just going to cut off one side for a second, and I'm going to start putting these into place. So they all face in, and that's how the first one's going to be. The second one's going to be mirroring it on this side, and then let's try and get them equal distance all the way around. This is going to be interesting. Now obviously this is a detail that you're not going to see, but there we go. I put 12 bullets in there, and then I'm going to be closing this off, and I'll probably never see these again. Making sure I put the catch on the right way. There you go. That's all back together there. And that's all there is to do in that stage. Now in stage 59, we're actually going to be starting the dashboard. So let's get all of this out. Should be a quick stage, this one, but this is what that's looking like. Now all the dials have already been put in here for us, which is pretty cool. Okay, first things first, we've got the steering column here. Now we want to put this in the right way. Now if you have a look at these things on the side here, we actually want them to be going inwards, not outwards. So I'm just going to have a look at these to make sure I'm getting these in the right way. It needs to be in this way, like that. That's going to be held in with SM screws, which I've got here. Again, these are color coded screws. So one there and one just on this side. Perfect. And now just got a couple of brackets to put in. So the first one's going to be going on this side here with the same SM screws. And then finally just the same thing on this side over here. And then with those two in place, that's all there is to do in that stage. In stage 60, we're going to be fitting the glove box. So we've got all of these parts here. So first thing I'm going to need is this hinge with the larger holes in it, and I'm going to be putting this into this part of the glove box here. So if I hold that like that, this is actually going to be fitting in on top here, just like that there. Now to keep that into place, we have a bracket which is going to go over the top here like this, and I'm going to be screwing that into place with AP screws. So one there and one this side. Perfect. Now in this bag we've got some of the little details, so let's get all of these out, make sure we don't lose any, because in the hole in this side I've got a handle which I'm just pushing in like that. On the other side here I've got the catch which goes in this way, and I'm just pushing this over the top. There you go, get that to fit flush in there like that there. I'm holding that in with an AP screw as well, because we don't want this coming out. That's going to keep the handle in place, but it's also going to keep all of this as one piece. So when I turn this, as you can see, it's going to turn that catch just there. Perfect. So bring over this section here. We're going to be putting the dashboard in place, but what we need to do first is put the back of the dashboard in, which looks like this. That's going to go over the top here. That's held in with 2 DM screws. Did I say dashboard in place? I meant glove box in place. It's early. So that's the back of the glove box here with 2 DM screws. And then from the underside here, this is where I get to now attach the glove box. Probably best to actually have it in a closed position before I put these screws in. These are going to be held in with AP screws. We need 2 of these. So 1 there and 1 this side. And then as you can see, that can't open there, but then when I open it like that, do that, and then I can turn the handle and that will keep itself closed. So that's in place. All I've got left then is this section to put in. Now what for this, I need to bring over this that we worked on previously. Looking good. And this actually is going to be going into the holes that we can see just here. If I just push them forward, just here on each side, it's going to fit in just like this way round. And they're going to be held in with these ADM screws. I need 2 of them. These are quite tiny screws. Basically, this stops these jerry cans going anywhere. And I can actually just push them back so they're actually tight against that section there. And with that done, that's all there is to do in that stage. So quite a detailed stage 61 now, because we're going to be putting all the details in the dashboard. So first thing first, we need the switch. We've actually got 2 switches to put in. One's labelled 61J and the other one's labelled 61L. Or it could be I don't know. Let's pretend it's I. Bring over what we've been working on the dashboard. Okay, we need to put the first switch in. It's going to go into this way, just like that. Just letting it sit there for a second. So I can put the second switch in, which is going to go next to it. And I'm going to be holding these in, I'm guessing, with some sort of bracket. And here we go, here is that bracket. So I need to make sure I've got these in the right way. So the notch needs to be on this way. Let me just rotate these around so that when I put this in, it's going to hold all of these into place. Just like that. That is perfect. Okay. Now I need SM screws to hold this bracket in. Perhaps I should have had these out already. I just opened that like a cavalryman opening his shot and gunpowder. There you go, that's not going anywhere now. And 1 in this side. So the goal here is that when I push these switches, they operate, which they do. Perfect. Now there should be a pack here with some little tiny details in, which I'm going to open. And I need to put part 61D in, which is sort of like this circular thing here, which is going to go in here. I don't know what these parts are, I apologise for that. But let's get that in all the way. There you go. I've got another one to put in right at the other side over here. Excellent, that one's in. Then I've got this part here, I don't know what this is, which goes in here just like that there, sort of like a lever or switch or something. Then I've got this, which looks like a choke. I keep saying it's a choke, but people say, no, that's not a choke, that's something else. But there we go. That's there. And then I've got another lever that's going to go this side. But to put this lever in, what we need to do is put it through the hole here, but we want to be able to use this one. So on the other side, we've got some of these C-clips to put in. These can be a bit tricky to get in, but what I tend to find is if you line them up on the vacant side here, yeah, not the easiest thing you're going to do today, but as you can see, that's in place there. Stops it coming out, but enables me to turn it. Now I'm guessing the other 2 are spares because they know you're going to ping these off in all directions. All I've got left is just this detail here with some holes at the bottom. I do want the holes facing down when I put this into place. So this is going to be going into the back here. So this is what it's looking like there. I'm guessing it's going to have lights in here to light this up. I need a JM screw to hold that into place. As you can see, this is a flange screw. Get that all the way in. And then I want to bring over this section here I've been working on with these lights that we've got. I need to feed them through the hole just here. Probably best to put one in at a time. So it comes out this side. Then I can plug these into the section we just had here. I want to bring the switch cables through the rectangular hole in the back as well. So now all the electrics are going to be going through that bulkhead, because now I'm in a position to put this into place. So just pull these through as I offer the dashboard to this section here. And there you go. That's exactly how that should look. Now I need the QM screws to secure that into place. And what we've basically got is the dashboard with all the electrics and lights in. And all of the cables from them are coming out through the bulkhead at the back there. Perfect. And with that in place, that's all there is to do in that stage. So in the last stage of this pack, we're just going to be building the battery compartment now. So this is what we started the build with, this massive section here. I want this to actually be going in this way here. So just lining everything up so I can line up the holes on each side. I want the wires to be on the left side of the car here. Now I'm securing them in with DM screws. So I need 2 of these. Perfect. Now as you see, one of these is a switch. So the switch is actually just going to be going into the gap just down here. Hopefully one of the cameras can show you that. I'm holding that in with SM screws. I've got one loaded up here. That's good. And then I've got this little, I don't know what it is. Is it a switch or something? Which is going to be going into this cavity on this side here. It's like some sort of housing. I don't know what the housing's for. So I'm just going to put that in there. You can probably see that on the top camera. I'm putting that in with DM screws. So that's the last DM screw going in there. And that is actually all there is to do in that stage. That's all there is to do in that pack. I think it's probably worthwhile to actually put this in. Obviously that thing we just fitted there was for the cover, to have a place to fit in, just like that. Now I'm making no apologies for having to put it all together. I just wanted to see what it looks like. How cool does that look? Obviously we haven't put it together yet, but I couldn't resist. I am having problems keeping this battery cover in. I think this needs to be just slightly pushed out a bit to have a bit more of a grip. Other than that, everything's working absolutely perfect. And the recording time for this was 1 hour 20 minutes, so I really enjoyed that. And I hope you did too. If you did, please remember to give me a thumbs up. And if you haven't subscribed already, please remember to subscribe. Other than that, take care.